Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Minor Details. This is basically the last one of the minor league season, if you will. The Iowa Cubs here in Des Moines are still playing a few more games over the weekend and just wrapping up their season while everybody else has been finished now for a few days. We are the voices of the Cubs minor league teams: Brendan King in South Bend, Luke Maley in Myrtle Beach, Richie Giuliano in Knoxville, and I'm Jason Kempf in Iowa. So let's just kind of reflect on what's been a very interesting season, I think, for the Cubs farm system as a whole. Certainly, the big league Cubs making the playoffs makes it a heck of a lot more interesting and exciting all the way around. But we'll start with the one team that made the postseason. Luke, I know the postseason didn't go the way that the dream was supposed to go. But I think every baseball season is kind of a story, right? It has its ups and downs. And in the end, it can either be a storybook or a tragedy or however you want to call it. And obviously not the way you wanted that to wrap up in a tough series against Columbia.
No, not at all. And it was an interesting scenario because you're finishing the year with Columbia. So we went 6 games to end the regular season against the first half champion as the second half champion and rolled right into game one at home. So it ended up being 7 straight at home between Myrtle Beach and Columbia. And you watched that first week, and there's not really much strategy that you can deploy. These teams have seen each other. There's no secret out of the bullpen or whatever. It's just how you would maybe manage the pen. So pretty much played it straight up, and you could tell by those first 6 games that this is going to be a dogfight. Columbia is not the second half record that they show. They're a lot better than that. They added some college guys from the draft, and they definitely pulled their weight, that's for sure. But you look at both games of the playoffs there. Early lead, got a 1-0 advantage in both of the 2 games, and then just couldn't get the bats going. So we lost, I think it was, 4-1, and then 2-1, 3-1, something like that. And that was the difference in it was just good pitching. And it was good pitching on both sides. There wasn't a ton of opportunities. When there was, neither team really had those big hits. It was Columbia that did a little bit more situationally in terms of hitting with runners in scoring position. But nothing to be disappointed about for the guys in Myrtle Beach. They put up a fight. They had a tremendous turnaround from looking back at the first half where they really struggled to turning around the ship under a first-year manager in Giovanni Cuevas. So a really successful season. Obviously didn't end up how they wanted it to, but had a ton of fun along the way.
I think in single A, and tell me if this was your opinion as well. You notice that a lot of the teams that start old are gonna compete in the first half and lose a lot of those guys to high A in the second half. Whereas if you start young, which I think Myrtle Beach did, guys that were relatively inexperienced, then you hope to see player development happen, and that's why you're good in the second half. Was that sort of what you saw happening in front of you?
100%. And the really cool part about it was those young guys that maybe struggled a little bit in the first half, or maybe the guys in the first half that had a little bit of success and then carry that into the start of the second, they all ended up with BK. BK stole our entire bullpen and most of our starting rotation. And so it was really good to see. I think it was 14 guys, went back and counted, that finished the season at a higher level than here in Myrtle Beach. That's the things that you love to see. That means guys are having success. And so you hold on to those guys. Now, every story is going to be the same for each team throughout the league. You hold on to your guys that get promoted, you're going to be a better roster. But it seems like every single guy that went up, it was like, how are you going to replace this guy? And somebody stepped up into those shoes, especially in the closer role. It started with Braden Reisdorf, who went up quickly, and then Braden Spears ended up holding down that role. Ethan Bell filled that role. Jackson Kirkpatrick ended up in South Bend as well. So really the bullpen was the big factor to me in the playoffs. They held their own. They didn't make too many mistakes. It was low-scoring ball games. The offense just couldn't get it going.
I'm kind of a sicko. One more question for you. Did you watch any of the Carolina League Championship Series? Because it got wild.
It did get wild. Game 1 was a good one. A very interesting ending in game 1. And then game 2 was, I think, 15-10. Columbia won it to force a game 3 at home. And then that ball game ended on a ground ball over to third base, in which the base runner, Luke Nowak, who hit 500 in the playoffs and hit 460 or something in 20 games to start his professional career, he was really the difference in that series with us. He was on base all the time and drove in every run. So Luke Nowak, but he ran right into the third baseman fielding the ball, and that ended it. And so it was very eventful. We saw an ejection in game 2 that ended up having the benches clear. There was no true brawl going on, but they came and looked at each other. And, you like to see some tensions run high in playoff baseball. They don't need the showboating sometimes, but it was fun nonetheless.
Yeah, I somehow convinced my wife to watch the end of game 3, and the benches cleared again in the 9th inning before the runner ran into the guy. So it was wild. And instead of celebrating, Lynchburg decided to just taunt Columbia after the final out. It was quite entertaining, and kind of missed that action in minor league baseball. Well, thanks for the info, Luke. Obviously a great year for the Pelicans, especially in that second half, like you mentioned. And I think, BK, tell me if I'm wrong, but sort of the same storyline minus that magical run to the playoffs where in the first half you're like, how are we going to turn this around? And then in half number 2, you're one of the better teams.
Yeah, first of all, I'd love to hear later more about how you convinced your wife to watch a full game of a low age championship.
I got you.
Let's hear about that later. I think, guys, when you talk about the 2025 South Bend Cubs season, it's going to be remembered for the group of guys we had because there were some great human beings on this roster. I know that's a little cliche to say, but I'm really excited for you, Richie, and you, Jason, to be able to see these guys in a couple of years because this was a really special group, especially in the community as well. But on the field, how about the biggest turnaround, guys, in franchise history from half 1 to half 2? From a 23-43 ball club in the first half to a 33-32 team in half number 2. And I realize being a game above 500 and a half is not going to blow the doors off and it's not going to impress people necessarily. But just the turnaround that this ball club had to press the reset button and say, you know what? Forget about what happened from April through June. We're going to make a run here. And even though we're going to come up short, this is going to be a lot of fun. And I think it starts with what Luke was saying about us stealing the entire Myrtle Beach pitching roster. Unfortunately, towards the end of the season, Richie stole our guys from us and they went up to Knoxville. However, for a good month there, guys, for an entire month from July 3rd through basically like August 15th, August 17th, the South Bend Cubs had the second lowest team ERA in all of minor league baseball, 2.41. So you're giving up less than 2.5 runs per game. And it's not like the offense was only putting up like 3 runs per game. The offense and the bats really found it under hitting coach Nate Spears. Some guys came up, guys like Leonel Espinoza from Low A Myrtle Beach, and then Cade Snell joined the team, pairing along with the red-hot Ariel Armas in August, Edgar Alvarez, guys who had been there since April. And the South Bend Cubs really caught fire, fellas, until that series in Peoria where they were swept in 6 games. But again, even though the season did not end with championship aspirations in the postseason, this is going to be a year I'm going to remember because I don't know if I've ever seen a clubhouse truly press reset. Like there was a legit button in the clubhouse and you went from a team that really struggled in the early months. I think a lot of it had to do, we had a super cold spring here in the Midwest League, and there were a lot of young guys playing their first full seasons and some guys of Latin descent that just were not comfortable, quite frankly, in those settings. But then you get to the summer, and again, this team caught fire, and it was a lot of fun to cover, especially with 3 consecutive series wins, beating Fort Wayne, Beloit, and Cedar Rapids. And, of course, Beloit and Cedar Rapids, those were the 2 teams in the West that made the postseason. But ultimately, if we're talking Midwest League playoffs, the West Michigan Whitecaps had one of the best years in minor league baseball history, winning 90-plus games. They swept us in April in 6 games when we were up in Grand Rapids, and they had the likes of Max Clark and Josue Braseño and Kevin McConicle, some of the top prospects in the Tigers organization. But credit the Tigers because they kept basically everybody there in West Michigan except for those 3. And then they had some guys come up from Lakeland. And it just so happened that both Lakeland and West Michigan won both championships in the Tigers system. So shout out Detroit because that's sick. And West Michigan, again, one of the best teams in all minor league baseball.
Yeah, I think it becomes apparent that there are organizations that really value winning in minor league baseball. I think the Tigers are one, the Rays are one, the Marlins have that under the new regime where they just want to win at every level. And it makes it refreshing to see teams trying to win championships in minor league baseball. Tell me about I think it was the last day of the season, Kenton Egbert, who I know was a cult hero in Myrtle Beach last year with the hair and the leg kick. Was the plan to try and get him through a complete game, or did you hear anything about when that started? I know he fell one out short.
1 out short, 8 2/3 innings. It's the second longest start in South Bend Cubs history. Eric Leal back in 2015. You can't believe this. Threw a 9-inning no-hitter, but the game went to extras. It doesn't count as a no-hitter. It finished 1-0. Ian Happ played for that team, David Bodie. So next time I see Ian, I'm like, hey, do you remember when Eric Leal threw a no-hitter, but it was a 12-inning, 1-0 game? So second longest start in South Bend Cubs history. Egbert's rolling through. He had a super memorable second half as well, winning a homecoming start in Dayton, where he's from. He's the only South Bend Cub here in 2025 to throw 100-plus innings. But, yeah, there was a super special moment, and there was video of it, of the bullpen warming up. They had Connor Spencer, the 12th-round pick out of Ole Miss, warming up in the 8th inning. And Egbert makes it through the 8th. And then the bullpens, it's kind of like angels in the outfield. Like, the bullpen is just looking back to the dugout and just waving. They're just waving at the dugout and saying, we don't want to pitch. Like, you're putting Kenton Egbert out for the 9th inning, or so help me. And they did. And Egbert, he gets the first out of the 9th. He gives up a base hit, gets the second out of the 9th, but unfortunately gave up one more base hit. But yeah, guys, that was one of the most memorable and craziest starts I've ever seen. 8 2/3 innings. Nearly had the complete game shutout. Unfortunately, gave up a run. But yeah, and this also doesn't happen often in minor league baseball too. A guy gets a standing O on his way off the field. The entire crowd was standing and giving Kenton Egbert a standing ovation. That was cool.
No, that looked from afar, just looking at the box score, you're like, all right, something interesting's happening there. And it was a fun little plot to follow there for a moment. In Double-A, Richie wanted to talk both on the field and then off the field with the new ballpark opening this year. Let's start on the field. I was talking to Iowa Cubs manager Marty Peavy the other day about what finishing above 500 means. And he said when you do this for so many months and you're coming to the ballpark and guys are coming and going and you have rough stretches, in the end, if you can look back and say that we won more than we lost, it feels like a victory. And you guys were able to accomplish that during the final week. Just kind of take us through the season from a broader view and then to finish with a record over 500.
Yeah, I give a lot of credit to our manager and Lance Reinold. This was a team that was pretty much 500 the entire season, didn't have a chance for the playoffs in the first or the second half. You know, you enter the final month of the season, 10 and a half games back in the standings. So the way they were able to end the year, very impressive. 9-2 in their last 11 games, including a 7-game win streak. So I give our coaching staff a lot of credit, keeping that clubhouse motivated every single day. We had a lot of young guys that BK mentioned that came up and had some learning curves up in Double-A. So they took their strides late in the season and started to grow. And then we also had some surprising good players, like Jordan Wogu had a really impressive season, a good turnaround, hitting 280. He traded the power for contact, which was great to see because it was the strikeout numbers that were very alarming for him last year, and he cut those in half and changed his approach with our hitting coach and was able to put the ball in play and had a great season. And then Rayvaj Garcia, I think all of us have seen. He's kind of been a journeyman in the Cubs system the last 4 years. He hit 280 as well, so he had another great campaign. And then Pedro, I think, is a rising star in the Cubs organization, a guy that could do it both defensively and offensively. He plays every single day. One of the guys that approaches the coaching staff and says, do not take me out of this lineup. Like, I want to play today. And our skipper made a comment. He's like, Pedro, you played in like 35 consecutive games. And he's like, I don't care. I just love to play baseball. And that's something that you don't see a lot anymore, especially in the minor leagues. A lot of guys are getting days off and even weeks off at a time. But not Pedro Ramirez, man. He's a workhorse. He'll play every single day. So it was good to see those individual performances. And overall, to kind of recap, a 500 year. But to your point, Jason, was huge at the end of the season to win 69 games and finish 2 games above 500.
And then you got to do something that I've always wanted to be a part of, and that's playing the first year at a brand new ballpark. So kind of give me from opening day, we talked about that at great length early in the year on like our first or second episode, but just what it was like to be in a brand new ballpark and how the people in downtown enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, to put this thing together was so much work. To get it ready to go on time, like we were building benches the week of opening day. So, to put that in perspective, it was a rush to get everything done. But by the time that fans walked into the ballpark on April 15th, this place was ready to go, and it was rocking and rolling. That opening night is something I'll never forget in my professional career. We had the Philadelphia Eagles, bald eagle, fly out from the apartment complex in left field over the stadium and land at home plate. Fireworks, huge American flag, and then of course Casey Opitz hit a go-ahead home run late in the game and ended up winning it 5-4. So, kind of what BK said about the standing ovation. You don't see many minor league teams in the ninth inning with 2 outs, the full stadium on their feet and clapping for that final out. So, that was a special moment I'll never forget. But, as a whole, I think the community really enjoyed this ballpark, bringing it back to Knoxville for the first time since the 90s. We led the league in attendance this year, which was great to see. And it was really fun to open up this ballpark with all the new dimensions. And we have the biggest scoreboard in minor league baseball that's in the shape of Tennessee. And, all the new technology now in these new stadiums is pretty cool. The bridge that runs over First Creek to make this a 360-degree ballpark for fans to enjoy. We got a Modelo watering hole in right field, full bar, 8 TVs, plasma screen out there, cornhole, ping pong, whatever you want to do. So there's a lot of different elements of this ballpark that make it special, including another cool element where there's a playground that's covered for kids to play at, baseball themed as well. So I hope you guys are able to come down and check out this new facility. It's going to be like the Battery in Atlanta when it's all said and done. You got apartment complex out and left, condominiums down the right field line. We're in the process of getting a brewery attached to the ballpark, along with restaurants and bars in the Delaney building. So this is going to be, a special place to spend a night, not just for a baseball game, but for entertainment, to come out and, drink, eat, pop, the whole 9 yards. I think this will be a great addition to the city of Knoxville.
Well, it sounds like Minor Details On Location in Knoxville is on the back burner now.
Exactly.
One more thing quickly, Richie. Do you have any feel for the Southern League playoffs? I know Montgomery already advanced to the championship, and I think the decisive game between Birmingham and Chattanooga is tonight. Those are my boys in Montgomery from the Rays farm system, and they have not won a championship since 2007, while every other Rays affiliate has won 3. So I know they're hungry for one. Do you have a feel for how that might shake out?
Yeah, the Rays have really good pitching prospects. Brody Hopkins, I think, is one of the best starting pitchers in their system, and he'll probably get to the big leagues with an upper 90s fastball and a couple good breaking balls. When I look at Montgomery, they're a team, offensively not very dangerous, but they do the right thing. Like, they produce runs. They've got a Homer Bush Jr. who was traded from the Padres over to the Rays, led the league in stolen bases this year, just gets on base. He's the son of Homer Bush, who won a World Series with the Yankees. And you could see, his dad, and the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree with him. So I think Montgomery will end up winning the Southern League for the first time in a while, like you said. And it's kind of crazy you said that, because they've been to the playoffs 10 consecutive years in a row, but haven't won it. And there's only 2 rounds in the Southern League. So that's hard to do.
Yeah, they're definitely well aware of that drought. And I think the other affiliates with the Rays let them hear about it. So they're desperate to get that one. Here in Iowa, just to kind of wrap things up, when this airs, we'll have just finished the season, and the 500 record is still kind of hanging in the balance. We're literally at 500 as we speak today, 73-73. With 3 games left, we had 1 canceled. So we can't finish at 500. But after a 10-game winning streak that ended a couple of weeks ago, it's now a 6-game losing streak as we talk on a Thursday here, or on a Friday before the end of the season. So it's been a little bit disappointing in that regard, where everything was building up to finishing the season with a flourish, and you thought, okay, it's definitely going to be a winning record this year. And then, of course, AAA baseball, Owen Casey is up. Kevin Alcantara goes up. He was supposed to come back down. Owen Casey goes on the injured list. Kevin Alcantara goes back up. Moises Ballesteros is with the big league club. Some bullpen arms have come and gone, and you're starting to add some of those veteran free agents. One thing that has energized the team a little bit, Billy Hamilton showed up and is being auditioned for a potential base running role in the playoffs. He's 3 for 4 with a 2-base errant pickoff throw drawn on a pitcher the other day. So he looks the part. He can't hit and he can't play the outfield. He had shoulder surgery in Mexico. But that's a fun storyline to watch over the weekend. He's pinch running every game, sometime after the 5th inning. Doesn't matter who it's for, but certainly a name that if he's healthy enough and looks the part with his legs, something that he hasn't lost yet. They clocked him at 22 miles per hour the other day. He has a chance to certainly help the Cubs in the postseason. So that'll be a fun storyline to watch. But all in all, a really fun year with a ton of big-time prospects. I don't think the overall record of the team reflects how much talent was here and how good the goods were in the 2025 season here in Des Moines. All right, let's real quickly, we got a few minutes left. If you have one or maybe a couple of your favorite moments of this season that you'll kind of think about when you say, hey, our 2025 season, thinking back, we'll start with you, Luke. What stands out?
We had a little bit of everything. Had the no-hitter. I would say that's the easy one to circle. In quick fashion, I'll go no-hitter, Christian Olivo walk-off home run, and then one that kind of went by the wayside. Owen Ayers put together a 15-game hitting streak before he got hurt. It was really 16-game, but he was the 4th in the last decade to reach a 15-game hitting streak, joining James Triantos, PCA, and David Bodie. So that was pretty cool company for him. Owen Ayers, all-time person. He's going to be a stud as he climbs the ranks.
BK?
Yeah, I'll look at the first game of that Beloit Road Series in August. Bases loaded, nobody out, winning runs on. Jackson Kirkpatrick enters. Jackson Kirkpatrick dominates. Strikes out the first guy he sees, gets a double play to end the game. At the moment, guys, that pushed us into first place over Beloit. So that was looked at the time as the biggest win of the season. And you talked about Jackson Kirkpatrick a little earlier, Luke. Guy was absolute nails, 6'7" monster. That guy's going to be a big part of the Cubs bullpen coming up soon someday. And then also throw in that Kenton Egbert 8 2/3 inning start to end the year. That was sick.
Yeah, I look at the final homestand of the season. Win 5 of 6 against Rocket City, featuring 2 walk-offs. Pablo hit a game-tying home run in the 9th in Game 2, and then Brett Bateman won it in the 10th inning. And then later in the series, we're down by 3 runs going into the bottom of the 10th inning, and they scratch and claw their way back, walk a couple times, couple base hits, and B.J. Murray Jr. caps it off with a game-winning single in the right center field. And that was kind of the storyline for the Smokies all year, playing well late in games, especially at home. 7 walk-offs this year in the inaugural season at Covenant Health Park. So this was a team that always was able to scratch and claw their way back into ball games and made it fun for those in the home bleachers.
There weren't a ton of signature individual moments this year. I think Matt Shaw's walk-off home run when he came down for that brief stretch earlier in the year, Game 2 of a doubleheader in extra innings after the iCubs fell behind by multiple runs in the top of the 10th. That was kind of the signature moment. But I just remember the buzz around every Cade Horton start, which look how that turned out. Just knowing that you were going to win a baseball game that day because he's untouchable. And also just watching Carlos Perez and Jonathan Long all year. And they've combined for 180 RBI, the most for both of them for an iCub since 2011. So the consistency from really good hitters is so much fun to watch over the course of 5 or 6 months. And those are the things that I think I'll always reflect on from 2025. Well, that'll just about do it for us on Marquee for our bi-weekly stuff. We'll get together a few times in the offseason and catch up on how things are going. But we'll continue on the iCubs YouTube channel with a few more minutes of fun. And guys, it's been tremendous being a part of the Cubs organization, meeting all of you and doing this. So a great season and best of luck in the offseason.
Thanks, Jason.
Thanks, Jason.
All right. Well, now that we're in the fun part of the show, if you will. So did you watch Dances with Wolves? Again, you two, Luke and Richie, that was the task from a long time ago, and you kept on stalling it. So
Well, let's go story.
I'm going to continue to stall here.
Unbelievable.
Richie's stalling. My dog is snoring now. Richie's stalling. While he does, I will inform you that 2 nights ago, I am not a big animated movie person. This is going a different direction. But my wife wanted to watch The Lorax, and I said, sure. We watch a lot of football in this household. The least I can do is watch The Lorax. So we watched The Lorax, which I had never seen. And I said, well, good night. I have homework to do. And so keep the movies rolling. Turn on Dances with Wolves. Start it. Get invested. It starts good. I'm very intrigued by it.
Let's go.
It's going. And I'm like, I feel like I've been watching this for a little bit. So I pause it and then realize I am watching the extended cut, which runs 3 hours and 56 minutes. And I'm like, oh man, I'm 2.5 hours into this. I look at my phone. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I got to go to bed. So I did finish it yesterday. That is a fantastic movie. I can't believe I'd never seen that before.
Thank you for
really
going
good.
through the effort.
Yeah, had to watch the extended
means a
cut
lot.
too.
All right, Richie, what's the deal?
Honestly, I just haven't watched it. I'll be straight up with you. I don't have a lie here, any excuse. I just
That's
didn't
tough.
watch it.
That's tough to hear. I mean, wow. All right.
Where do I even watch this for the next show?
I watch it on HBO Max.
There are like, there's a million illegal movie streams that you could Google.
It's probably also on VHS or DVD anywhere. Just look for it.
Does anybody want to take a stab at what year it came out?
I want to say like 86. 88?
A little more.
90.
90.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I was too. I remember it well. Filming of that movie.
As a 30-year-old, I'm going to use my few opportunities to say I was not born yet.
There you go. I appreciate you doing that, BK.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, let's talk Cubs postseason. Obviously, as being part of a major league organization on the minor league side, you always want to see that happen. It's kind of the goal of everybody is to get the big league team to compete for a World Series. So, BK, let's start with you. You've been around the organization for a while, and obviously a good chunk of the core is homegrown with the Cubs. But what did you think of seeing the guys celebrate and being back in the postseason in a full season for the first time since 2018?
Yeah, it's special for sure. And, saying that both as a broadcaster in the minor league system and, somebody that grew up on Cubs baseball, I think this city is one that is just more fun to be in when the Cubs are good, simply put. I think you could even toss the White Sox in there too. When there is good baseball played in Chicago, it's a really fun city to be in. It's already a great city to be a part of. But again, when you've got the baseball humming, there's just something about it where you wake up and either the Cubs are playing a day game or there's that hint in the air that there's going to be playoff baseball in Wrigleyville. My senior year of college, the Cubs won the World Series, and that's one of the best memories ever. Obviously, I watched Game 7 in Indianapolis in college, but me and my buddies just drove up for Game 3 and hung out in Wrigleyville. We didn't even go to the game. We just parked our car like blocks away and we walked to Wrigley and we found a place to crash. I mean, those are the stories that makes Wrigleyville special. And especially now, listen, even back in 2016, Wrigleyville was still transforming in a way. It did not look exactly like it does now. There are new parts of it that have not been experienced in postseason ball yet. So that's just the city effect. From a team perspective, it's been awesome to see these guys go up there and be part of this new core that have come through almost every single one of our levels, whether that's PCA, Horton, others. Even Nico Horner I had when he was a South Bend Cub back in 2018. So, I mean, that's been sweet to see. And then, you pair that along with the guys that you thought would get you to this point, like a Kyle Tucker and a Dansby Swanson. And it's great to see Ian Happ back in postseason baseball. I think just you combine all things. I think the players understand what postseason Wrigley is going to feel like. But until those gates open and the organ starts playing and there's that little just sense of crisp in the air of fall baseball in Chicago, there's nothing better, boys. So hopefully they can go make a run.
What about you, Richie?
Well, I think it's a good time when Hollywood Pete Crow Armstrong is shirtless in the clubhouse because I've seen that twice. Once when the Smokies clinched and when the Cubs clinched. So that's always a good sign. But I think it's a good mix for this squad. With some veterans that they have, and then the young guys. Like I think Matt Shaw's brought a lot of energy as of late. Hollywood Pete's always been that go-to guy offensively. Ballesteros is up there. Hopefully he's all right. By the way. Getting hit in the head by that line drive. That was actually pretty scary. That you add some like Carlos Santana, he's been to the postseason. He actually faced the Cubs in the World Series in 2016 on the opposite side with Cleveland. And then Dansby Swanson, Turner, those guys I think will bring that postseason experience that you need, because these guys are going to be nervous. Like, a lot of them are in the Major League postseason for the first time, and it's a different jump from the minor leagues to the major league. So I think they're in a good spot right now, though, playing some good ball, and able to get to the postseason was huge.
I think both of these guys kind of hit the nail on the head and took most of what there is to say. I'll step back a little bit, go to last week. I think the baseball gods are on your side. Anytime a young prospect hits his first home run and it sails right to the guy that's a legend in the city because he helped bring a World Series back to Chicago. That Anthony Rizzo moment, that was just the coolest thing ever. And then for the cam to just perfectly cut in tight to him, where you can see that's why I'm retired. I just think there's special vibes around this group right now. One of my favorite moments from just watching the celebration from here in Myrtle Beach was Seiya Suzuki. I don't know if you guys saw his interview in the clubhouse saying that he's learned that champagne's better to be absorbed through the skin rather than to drink it. I just love it. I think the vibes are really high in Wrigley right now, and it's going to be fun to watch this team ascend through the postseason.
Yeah, and I think you look to that first series, and also baseball feels wide open this year. There's so many teams that are in the playoffs that you just don't know what you're going to get. I mean, Milwaukee has the best record, but are they a team that scares you to death? I don't necessarily think so. The Dodgers are kind of that team, but their bullpen lately hasn't been able to hold on to a lead. And I just think a 3-game or a best-of-3 wild card at Wrigley between the Padres and the Cubs, which is, I think, the most likely outcome, that just sounds like a lot of fun, right? You get as you mentioned, BK, the crisp fall air, maybe some sweatshirts start to come out a little bit here over the next few weeks. And the Padres, they've had some pitchers that just haven't had great years, but they are experienced in the postseason. So I think you could have some fun pitching matchups with, where does Cade Horton fit into that rotation in a playoff series? I would guess it's toward the top based on how things have trended recently, but probably against Dylan Cease, Yu Darvish, Michael King, Nick Pivetta, somebody in that trio. And I think at Wrigley Field, that sounds like a pretty fun way to start October. So excited to see what that looks like. And a lot of guys who played for the Iowa Cubs and all of the other organizations we represent over the last handful of years have a chance to do it on the big stage once again in the postseason. And it has been a while since the Cubs won a playoff series. So I know people are hungry for that, and it'll certainly be fun to watch sort of from the inside for the first time and see how that all shakes out. It's so unpredictable, but it's always fun to watch. So what do you guys have going on in the offseason? Just let people know what it looks like for you. Are you doing anything else sports-wise, or just getting ready for the next season? It'll be fun to hear what each of your plans are for the next few months. Go ahead, Luke.
I'm still here in Myrtle Beach, spending the offseason here, so can't complain too much about that. See what is to come for next season, but wrapping up right now, and like before we started recording, talking, I'm not full-time, just seasonal. So during the off season, it's up to me to figure out what to do. So doing a little bit of college basketball for sure, trying to squeeze in a little football, kind of on the reserve list for a few local places up to Charleston as well. Just seeing how that goes. And in the meantime, you might catch me in some classrooms as a substitute teacher here in Horry County.
Oh, my goodness.
Nice.
Uh-oh.
These kids
Watch out
have
for
no
Mr.
clue.
Mealy. Do what?
These kids have no clue.
No,
What age are they willing to put you in front of?
Generally do like middle school, high school, but I guess if the elementary comes calling, I can do that. But I feel like my connections are a little bit better with the high school aged kids.
You should play
What's
the
your
extended
subject?
cut of Dances with Wolves and just roll in the TV.
Yeah.
I gotta bring in the roll-in TV.
Yeah.
We can't.
That's when you know there's a sub.
Yeah.
Just be like, look, I'm here the next 4 days. We're going to watch this 1 hour each day, and then we'll have Friday.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a class. People are going to be really excited about that. I can tell.
For
There's
sure.
probably a buzz in the area already. Richie, what's up in the off season there for you?
Yeah, so I handle all of our outside events at the new ballpark. So, we do a lot of corporate outings here, have some events on the field. Like we had an event last week, a big company that was international came here, did a company retreat, took some BP on the field, drank, had fireworks for the event. So, we do a lot of cool stuff at the new ballpark. With different areas, it gives us the opportunity to host different style events, whether you want like a more formal event up in our club area or a ballpark style event on the field or the concourse. We kind of offer everything. So that's what I do in the off season. Lucky to be here full time in Tennessee, and then I'm also picking up some games with South Alabama. Doing some volleyball next weekend for them. So big series, Jaguars and Troy. So tune in to ESPN Plus. Jason, if you could get your wife to watch a South Alabama volleyball game, I'll be really impressed.
No, we can do it. I'll send you a picture. No problem at all. No problem at all. She's watched a lot worse sports-wise. I can promise you that. I can tell. Can you guys tell that he sells special events there at the ballpark? I mean, he's got his little elevator pitch ready to go. Like, oh, we've got this here and this here. I could hear it throughout today's podcast.
Yeah, that's my job. I'm a salesman now.
Wow. BK, what's going on with you?
Yeah, so if you couldn't tell with the setting today, I'm back in Studio BK down in Indianapolis. So this is where I spend the off season. Wrapped up in South Bend last week, and do a bunch of work around the Midwest in Indy, covering the Colts and the Pacers. Do a lot of college hoops, whether that's at Indiana State or Butler, my alma mater, kind of wherever I can pick up games, and then kind of wherever the road takes me. Last February, super blessed. I got to do my first national TV college hoops game down at Georgia Tech for the CW. So God willing, they'll give me a buzz if they need to fill in again, and hopefully they were happy with it. So yeah, I think the off season is kind of half and half. Half where you're catching up on sleep and you're trying to recover from the season, but also you want to stay busy enough that you don't feel like a bum. So that's kind of been my approach the last number of years. I have never gotten into substitute teaching. However, my mom is a teacher, so if need be, I think that's something I might have to pick up.
What do you got on? Yeah, maybe we should all do that one off season. Like we just all become substitute teachers. That'd be a great.
I'm not intelligent enough to teach anything.
Hey, nobody said anything about teaching. I just managed.
You could teach sales. What are you talking about, Rich?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's right.
I can do
the
sales.
elevator pitch going.
Go teach at UT, your business professor.
Yeah. They'd be like, who is this guy?
What do you got on Indiana Jones? Is that a real thing?
Me?
As in
Daniel
Jones?
I see that hasn't fully reflected. I'm still a Danny Dimes guy, but I don't know. I think no offense to your Broncos, but that should have been a loss for the hometown Indianapolis Colts. But listen, I think Daniel Jones has done just enough to not screw anything up, and we'll see how long that lasts.
That's right. I have no personal allegiance to the Broncos. I just happen to watch the game.
Oh,
don't worry.
Gotcha.
I'm a Packers.
I know, but before we went on the air, you made it sound like you were rooting for the Broncos. Not sure if you had any.
That's just no. I just was. Your pick was accurate that I saw on social media because of it's sort of an odd call, and I was just watching as a person leaving on a bus out of Indianapolis.
That's funny.
I'm full time here with the iCubs as well. Fortunate to do that and enjoy that part of the job, especially once you have kids. Trying to do some other stuff around town, but relatively new to the area. So maybe substitute teaching is something I should do. I mean, Luke could be a role model for me in that regard. But trying to do some stuff with Drake and Iowa State like Alex Cohen did in the past. So just hoping to see as many sports as possible and try to stay fresh, if you will, before next baseball season gets here. I mean, spring training isn't really that far away if you look at the calendar. So it'll certainly be a good time. And excited to kind of see. People keep asking me where my favorite place to eat in Des Moines is and those kind of things. And I'm like, I got here in February and we played a month later. I have no idea. I haven't been anywhere else besides Principal Park. So maybe we'll check out some of those places as well. All right, let's wrap things up before we go. Any final thoughts from each of you before we sign off here on our at least baseball season-oriented part of this podcast. Luke, I'll let you go ahead.
Yeah, it's been a ton of fun.
Teacher here.
Yeah. It's been a ton of fun here with you guys on field. This is my first impression of the Cubs organization outside of just watching as a fan of baseball. So ton of good people, as BK talked about. All the guys that started the year here in Myrtle Beach, those that ended the year, the newcomers, everyone has been just good people. It was a great group of guys here with the Pelicans, and that goes up through the organization. And when you have good vibes guys all around the clubhouse, good things happen. And it just so happens that those good vibe guys are pretty good at baseball as well. So should be fun to watch the guys that I covered this year, ascend through the ranks, and you guys to report back your thoughts on them. And I fully expect all good things from a personality perspective.
BK?
Yeah, I mean, this has been cool, guys, not only because I feel like we've had a really nice blend on this show, but nothing like this has ever been a thing. So big shout out to Jason for getting us all together. Also, huge thanks to Hannah for putting this thing together. And then obviously Luke and Richie, it's been awesome to share this with you guys. So I appreciate it. And, hard to believe, year 8 in minor league baseball for me, year 6 in South Bend. It's been wild. So it's flying by, but like Luke said, when you're around good people, good things are going to happen naturally, and it's usually going to fly by because of it. So I think whenever you get into a special situation, especially at the start of a baseball season, knowing you got a good group, that's when you really got to relish things, because it's going to be over as soon as you blink. And I'm glad we got to do that this year.
Richie?
Yeah, very fortunate.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, you're welcome. I got here on time today. This is 11 a.m. Eastern time, and I was here in a timely manner. But it was a great year. Very fortunate to open up a brand new stadium. I know a lot of people don't get to experience something like this, so something I'll be able to put on a resume for the rest of my life and really cherish. And the city of Knoxville rallied around this stadium, rallied around this team, and to be able to have our broadcasts on marquee and to do this podcast and have all the fans reach out to me and Mick, whether it's on social media or by text, was really cool. Just the outreach I think that we've created in the fandom of minor league baseball and the Cubs organization. So thanks to you, Jason, for having us, and to Hannah for putting this all together. It's been a really fun experience, and I think to cap it off, one of our off-season episodes is going to have to be down in remote Myrtle Beach. On the beach
with pizza burgers. I might have to make some calls.
Yes.
Might have to make some calls to make sure the Clark and Addison grill gets fired up and ready
going
for Jason.
Yeah, we got to start preheating that at like 10 a.m. so that we can do it by noon. Yeah, I would echo, I think, what all you guys said. And obviously, Hannah does all the work behind the scenes. One of these episodes, we got to get a camera on her and make her, be on air, because that's what she loves. I'm sure she would be really happy about that. But she's done a lot of the real work. But thank you guys for coming up with stuff every week or every couple weeks and taking the time to chat and talk Cubs baseball. I mean, that's the cool part about being part of this organization for the first time, is how different it is than other organizations where I think something like this would be watched a few times or by a couple people or by families, whereas with the Cubs, there's a lot of people interested, and you have the scope to reach those people. So it's been sort of eye-opening, and you can just kind of see the possibilities. And when the big league team is good and the minor league teams have interesting players, it's a pretty good storm coming together. And it should be a lot of fun here over the next few years as well for Cubs fans, both at this level and up in the big leagues, as we started to see this year. So, again, appreciate your time. Thanks to Hannah for putting this all together on the back end, and Marquis for putting it on air every couple of weeks, which is obviously big for all of us. But we'll still do this, as I mentioned, a few times throughout the offseason. But for now, I guess that'll do it for minor details as far as the season is concerned. It's been a ton of fun, guys. Have a great offseason.
Thanks, boys.
Thanks, Fuzz.
Thanks, guys.